Welcome to The Right Stuff from Goldspot Pens, a podcast that guides you from pen noob to aficionado in less than 20 minutes. I'm your host, Tom Otto. In this episode, we explore one of the world's most versatile pen brands in LAMY. Hang out until the end and I'll give away something on my desk. With this month bringing so many new releases coming from the German pen manufacturer, I thought it would be a good time to pull back and take an overview of all that LAMY has to offer. To answer Parker Morris 803's question, which reads, do you have any brands or models you would recommend for a teenager just getting into the hobby? So LAMY is the answer, and we'll explore all of the pens that I would recommend to teenager, young, old, anybody who's looking to get into this brand. So at the very, very start of things, we have the LAMY ABC, which is a fountain pen for beginners. It also comes in a mechanical pencil, so if you're really getting into the beginning stages of writing and just learning how to write and how to hold a writing instrument, pencil is going to be the best way to go. But then once you start to gain that confidence and can be trusted with fountain pen ink, then the fountain pen, this LAMY ABC, is the way to go. And it's quite easy to see that the LAMY ABC is meant to be a kid's pen. It comes in a box that has a display window, one blue ink cartridge, and it has a neat little feature. So for a starter pen, the LAMY ABC is pretty easy to use. It's a cartridge filling pen. It shows you quite explicitly in the instructions how to fill it. Either with the cartridge or optionally with a converter. And then on top of that, to really personalize the experience, and then of course, because you would think that a child might be using this in a school setting, so they want to make sure that their name is labeled on it, is that LAMY includes 2 sheets of sticker labels. So this label would be used to write the child's name on it. The little circle could be put on the opposite back finial end, and the longer strip would be for the cap. And then to secure both areas, they have a plasticized sticker that goes over it. So then you would write on this one part, this clear part would go over the top, and then you'd be able to prevent, like, I guess, spills and things like that from ruining the label. But labels aside, this is a pretty recognizable nib. This is an LZ50 stainless steel nib, the first time, but not the last time we'll be seeing this nib in this video. It uses the LT10 ink cartridge or the Z28 converter, which is not included, but you could purchase that additionally. The aspects that really make this very friendly towards children is the fact that you have this rubberized grip section, which is super simple to grip, and it's a little bit on the thicker side, so it's easier to maintain a tripod grip with it. It's got little facets here for where your thumb and pointer finger would go. And then also the barrel is a maple wood exterior, so it has a rather pleasant feel. Even to my adult hands, it's a rather pleasant feel that I think reckons to have that like pencil sort of feel. So it's not so much of a big departure for a child to go from a wooden pencil than to a fountain pen that has a bit of that wood exterior texture to it. So you can find the LAMY ABC is $16 for a 1.4 mechanical pencil or $20.80 for the fountain pen. Next, where fountain pen enthusiasts of all ages might start with the LAMY brand is the Safari. It's made out of ABS plastic, has a U-shaped wire clip, and a barrel cutout so you could see the level of ink left in your fountain pen. Similarly to the ABC, the Safari also has a molded grip section which supports a tripod grip. So it has 2 facets that are molded on either side of the pen, and the face of the nib then corresponds with that as well. It also uses an LZ50 stainless steel nib, although this is a little bit more of a mature version, being that it is black finished. And it is available in a wider array of nib sizes than the ABC would be. This pen also fills using the same LT10 ink cartridge, which is available in a wide variety of different colors, or the LZ28 converter, which is also not included with this pen either. Safari just saw its latest edition in, this is what's called the Scarlet. This is a matte finish. It's got the black trim and a deep, let's say plum purple eggplant sort of color. A lot of people don't feel like it's called scarlet appropriately. It should be called something else. But hey, LAMY has got some different tastes in naming. So, but this is one of the core collections that you would see many different special editions available in either matte plastic or shiny plastic, different color combinations. There was Pina Colada and Cherry Blossom last year. So there's a lot of different options in the Safari line that tailor then to your specific tastes, as well as in modes. So you'd not only find the fountain pen, but you'd also see rollerball, ballpoint, and mechanical pencil as well. It starts at $16 for the ballpoint pen, and the Safari fountain pen is $29.60. We'll escalate to the fanciness of the fountain pens in just a second, but let's take a quick look at some budget options that are not fountain pens, which still provide an excellent writing experience. The no-nonsense LAMY Noto is LAMY's answer to the ubiquitous Parker Jotter. It's a sleek, retractable ballpoint pen done in LAMY's Bauhaus style aesthetic, with a focus that's on function. Made from plastic in a rounded triangular shape, the Noto retracts with a smooth press of the oblong button on top. The Noto writes with the LAMY M16 proprietary ballpoint ink cartridge, which you could find in fine, medium, or broad point sizes. And you could find them quite affordably at $14 for the ballpoint only, and in a variety of different colors. This is the burgundy style, which probably would say is close to the scarlet. Pocket-sized and here to party, you might be surprised by how clutch the LAMY Pico comes through in a pinch. When it's closed, this pen measures a meager 3.75 inches or 95 millimeters. But when the back is pressed, the pen extends out to 5 inches or 125 millimeters. There's no clip to the LAMY Pico, but there is a roll stop. So as I kind of have it on the table, yeah, you could force it to like make it roll around, but just a gentle tap and that roll stop keeps things kind of pretty steady with this pen. So instead of the Noto's M16 refill, the LAMY Pico uses the M22, which is a LAMY proprietary mini ballpoint refill. It's available in fine, medium, or broad point sizes. And you could find all of the different finishes. This is the chrome finish of the Pico, but you could find a lot of different finishes of the Pico collection available at $39.20 for this pocket ballpoint pen. For a dependable writing experience with a touch of luxury, the AL-Star is basically a fancier Safari. But here are the key differences between a LAMY Safari and an AL-Star. So in the name, the AL in AL-Star is short for aluminum, as in the aluminum exterior finish to the cap and the barrel. Also, the AL-Stars have a translucent grip section, which adds a slight bit of intrigue to the plastic that then would otherwise be used in the Safari. It's also, thanks to the aluminum finish, a touch heavier than the Safari is, weighing in at 10 grams versus the Safari's 7 grams. And as with the Safari, the AL-Stars continue to multiply in different styles. So this is the new Denim and Aubergine, which are 2025 special editions that reflect the color blocking fashion trend, pairing a contrasting duo of aluminum body and plastic grip section. You find the AL-Star starting at $24 for a ballpoint pen, and the fountain pens are $37.60. Next level up on the premium scale is the LAMY Swift, a pen that operates like the name implies. It's a quick action push-top retractable rollerball pen that has a neat action when you press the knock button. So, might have not seen it the first time I clicked it, but when I click it down, the clip goes in so you can't accidentally clip this pen on your pocket and then have all of the ink be in the inside of your pocket. And then when the clip is out and the point is in, this clip is actually spring-loaded, so it actuates and it allows you to kind of open it up so that then you could easily slide it into pen loops or attach it to clothing, bags, straps, what have you. The body of the LAMY Swift is a straight cylinder, all-metal body with a step that goes down towards the tip of the pen. The grip area has a punched-out surface to then aid with your grip. It's an interesting little bit of a texture. The liquid writing LM63 is another proprietary LAMY refill, which writes with a juicy, if not juicier, line than the Retro 51 rollerball. And unfortunately, just like the Retro 51 rollerball, there's only one point size that's available in the LM63 refill. It's available in red, green, blue, or black type cartridges. And you can find the Swift on the Gold Spot website, variety of different colors, $52 for the rollerball. If you were rocking a Safari during your school years, the Studio is like graduating and getting your own apartment. It's a very adult pen. Like the Swift, it's a metal-based pen that has more heft and luxurious feel. And the finishes vary because this is a more luxurious type of pen. They go from brushed stainless steel, palladium, and lacquer in both the matte and polished varieties. Closed, the pen's profile has a tapered, streamlined profile with the distinctive propeller pocket clip that adds a touch of elegant distinction. Although most of the grip sections of the LAMY Studio are usually polished, some do have a rubberized matte finish. And as you may notice with this pen, similarly to the AL-Star Safari and the ABC, the Studio also uses the LZ50 stainless steel nib, which also is available in the 14 karat gold version on some models. So this does range in price quite significantly. So the LAMY Studio goes from $63.20 for a ballpoint pen, $79.20 for a steel nib fountain pen, and then also $167.20 for a 14 karat gold fountain pen. The LAMY 2000 is an iconic pen that looks like it was pulled from the pages of a 1950s science fiction magazine. We may not have the flying cars and vacations to Mars, but the LAMY 2000 is one fantastic pen that's ahead of its time. One of the elements that sets this pen way apart from all of its other competitors is that it's made from a substance called macrolon, which is a combination of resin and fiberglass, which has a brushed finish, and it's lightweight, but still has kind of like a matte sort of feel. It's just so unique. And you don't see many other pens made of that type of material. And to kind of pair with it, the hooded front section that the nib peeks out from is also made out of brushed stainless steel. So it kind of adds a little bit more down weight to this otherwise lightweight type of pen. Overall, the profile is just so elegantly designed that it just feels like it fits so perfectly in hand, and just everything feels like it fits so well together in a sort of seamless, futuristic sort of way. The slip cap has a clutch mechanism that's very satisfying to then click and unclick out. Like when I close the pen, it makes a very satisfying snap in place, and it's very secure. And then at the same time, when you post it on the back end of the pen, it just slides right in. You just feel that that cap is so securely on there. And then also talking about just the cap, we're not even talking about the nib yet, but just talking about the cap, has a tie bar kind of clip that then has a hinged spring-loaded feature that, just like with the Swift, allows you to easily slip this pen, when it's capped of course, onto a piece of clothing or a pen loop. Now, one of the excellent features that's unique to many of the fountain pens we've seen here is that the LAMY 2000 uses a built-in piston mechanism. It's the only pen in LAMY's entire lineup that uses this, where some brands, that's all they do, piston mechanisms or eyedropper mechanisms, but LAMY uses mostly cartridge converter, and then this is the one and only piston fill mechanism, which makes this pen pretty special in that regard too. And the other feature, like we were looking at with the other pens, is that this does not have the same LZ50 nib that the other LAMY pens have. This has a unique nib that's only made for the 2000. It's a hooded nib, so it's a little bit difficult. You can actually take this apart and clean out the nib or swap the nib if you want to. It's a little tricky to put everything back together, and you don't want to mess with perfection here. But this nib, the way that this nib is designed, really makes it easy for you to get down to the very end of the bottle of ink or an ink sample and be able to just get the last few drops out of it. Because the way that the nib is just so small and then it's able to pull up whatever's just left in the bottle. Trust me, I've done it so many different times. It's like my go-to pen if I have just a very, very little bit of ink left. But if a fountain pen's not for you in the LAMY 2000, this actually is available in other modes as well. So it's available in pencil, ballpoint pen, rollerball, and a 4-color ballpoint pen model. And it starts at $55.20 for the mechanical pencil. And this fountain pen, one of the best affordable options, I think, in 14 karat gold next tier level up fountain pens is $223.20. And at the top of the LAMY brand is the sleek and some might say over-engineered Dialog CC. This is a retractable fountain pen. And unlike the other most well-known retractable fountain pen that we sell a lot of, the Pilot Vanishing Point, this is actually a twist action retractable as opposed to a click action. What protects this nib then from drying out or from getting ink everywhere when you don't want to have it used is that there is a ball bearing that then closes as you close the pen. It does protect everything that's inside, and then it protects the nib from drying out. This Dialog CC, it's a fairly hefty pen, probably would say the heftiest of the bunch here, even though despite the fact that it doesn't seem like it's awfully that big, but it's an all metal body, it has a matte lacquer finish, and it also has a roll stop like the Pico does. So this is kind of like the more like grown up version possibly of the Pico. It's a more like I said, possibly over engineered, right? Because I mean the Pico is a very simple type of pen to use where it's just a very quick click action to get this going. This is also very simple too, because you could just unscrew and screw it back in here. Filling it's a little bit different than you would a normal fountain pen. You do have to unscrew the nib unit from the pen entirely, and then you would fill it and clean it like this. And then if you need to fill in the inside, if you need to clean the inside of this pen, there is a metal doohickey, and that is the technical definition of that tool. There's a metal doohickey that comes in the box with everything that allows you to take out and to actually open the ball bearing without the nib being inside. So then you could clean the inside of the pen. Now, as you may have recognized from seeing it multiple times, this is the same type of nib as the Safari AL-Star, but it is the 14 karat gold version. So it does look like it, but it's a lot more expensive because it's made out of gold. And you can notice the difference. That's what the beauty of these LAMY nibs are, is that despite the fact that yes, the stainless steels are pretty smooth, good, reliable nibs, but the 14 karat gold ones are just, ooh, they're just like butter. These things are so good. I mean, the LAMY 2000, yes, also buttery. These are also buttery as well. It's very, very like solidly well-made nibs. It does use a cartridge converter similarly to the rest of the LAMY lineup. It's a proprietary converter. It does come with the pen, along with the cartridge as well. So you are pretty set up to then use the various inks in whatever pen that you like. The reason why that this is at the very top of LAMY's price catalog here is that usually there might be a more expensive pen, like maybe there's a limited edition 2000 that comes out that's more expensive, but mostly the Dialog CC is the most expensive at $351.20 for the fountain pen. After a pretty cold winter here in New Jersey, we're looking forward to embracing the spring and the better weather it brings. Our team gathered all the pens, inks, and writing tools that gave us those helpful spring vibes and put them into the spring collection on goldspot.com. You can shop all our spring pen picks using the link in the video description. For our ink spotlight, we highlight two of LAMY's latest ink releases, including a reintroduction to an old favorite. LAMY Petrol is back, but not really. It's like the same thing that happened with the LAMY Dark Lilac, but a little bit different. And part of this is that LAMY learned its lesson last time. They didn't say that the Petrol was going to be the same, or they had to clearly state that Petrol was going to be a little bit different. So I think a lot more people were satisfied with the Petrol release. And the reason why that they're going back to this and doing Dark Lilac and Petrol is that when they first announced these back in 2016, 2017, they didn't anticipate that people would love the inks as much as they did the pens. Like, of course, they had plenty of pens available in both of those colors, but they didn't realize that when they made a matching ink to go along with it, that people were going to go crazy for the ink. So this is kind of like revisiting and making up for that mistake that they had done last time, because both Dark Lilac and Petrol completely blew out of the water when we had them back in those the original versions. So looking side by side at 2017's Petrol and 2025's Petrol, I tend to feel like, I mean, I look at it, I haven't written with Petrol in a long time, but I kind of feel like the new Petrol is a little bit better. I feel like it's a little bit more, it's got a little bit more oomph to it. But I was really surprised though by how much I liked Sepia, which was the other ink that was released along with Petrol this year. And it really doesn't write much like any other sepia color that I've used before. But that's more likely just a LAMY naming thing, because they could have called it a variety of other things besides sepia. Because when I think of a sepia, I think of like a brownish ochre color. It's kind of like a color of an old photograph. But this color has so much more vibrancy. It's like a reddish orange that has like a lean towards brown. It just has so much more oomph and a lot more like vibrancy than you would usually see in a sepia. All right, so for this quick pen tip, since we've been talking so much about Safaris and we've been talking so much about this LZ50 stainless steel nib that's available on multiple different models of the LAMY collection here, that naturally people want to switch. They want to swap nibs. It's very, 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 very common to swap a LAMY nib, but it's not as intuitive as one may think. It's not a simple issue of just, let's say, just unscrew the nib out of the nib unit. You do have to be a little bit gentle and do a little something different that not all other brands, would, let's say, have you do to remove their nib. So instead of just straight pulling out with the feed, which you definitely don't want to do, this is the way that actually LAMY themselves will instruct you how to swap their nib. I know most people are going to be like, Tom, you got to be kidding me, because I've seen it done one way many, many times over, and this is not the way you're supposed to do it. But this is the way that LAMY shows you how to do on the website. So you would take the nib, put it face down on the table here, and you would take your cap of your fountain pen, and then you would put the cap over the tip of the nib, and then you would then pull, and that releases the nib from the feed. Simple, right? Beats using a piece of tape, because if you don't have a piece of tape, at least you have the cap. You should have the cap, right? Then you would take the nib, and when you want to insert it back onto the designated fountain pen that you're looking to put it on, you would have to kind of find where the rails are. So the nib itself kind of folds in on both sides. So then what you'd want to do is put the nib and then slide it over the sides of the pen, let the rails catch on either side, and there you have the nib is then installed on your pen. And and then you would be able then to swap Safari nibs with Studio. You could put the Dialog CC's 14 karat gold nib on a Safari if you wanted to, or on a LAMY ABC. You could switch them however you'd like to switch them. So you could buy then like a Studio and an extra fine, you could have a Safari and a fine, you could have an AL-Star and a broad, and be able to swap and do whatever you'd like. And if your pen that you buy, like let's say if a new AL-Star limited edition comes out, it's only available in extra fine, medium, but you really want that 1.1 millimeter stub, then you could just easily just take the nib off, put on the 1.1 millimeter stub, and you're set. Congrats go to Parker Morris 803 for being picked as the question of the week. You've won the Colorverse 2025 blue-green snake fountain pen ink I mentioned in the previous episode. Email me at tom@goldspot.com to claim your prize. For this episode's giveaway, I'm giving away your choice of either the LAMY Safari Scarlet or AL-Star in the denim or aubergine. Any mode, fountain pen, pencil, whatever you like. So to enter, you must be subscribed to the Goldspot Pens channel, like this video, and leave a comment below with a question you'd like for me to answer in a future episode. If I answer your question, then you win. If you'd like to see me write with the pens mentioned in this week's episode, you could check out Goldspot Pens YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, and TikToks for writing samples. Thank you for checking out this week's episode of the Write Stuff podcast by Goldspot Pens. Now go out there, put your pen to paper, and write stuff. Until next time, stay inky, my friends. Take care.